Greetings, Padawans, and welcome to the Archives. Here to unlock this holocron, here's the man of the hour, Jedi Master, AlsoTeeko.
And welcome everybody to the Archives podcast, episode 12, coming off of the solo show talking all about the Andor debate. We are joined by MJ and Van Seal out here today. And today's topic is life among the stars. I've been on a crazy Starfield binge right now. I'm having a really good time playing it. And with everything new that's been coming to Galaxy of Heroes as well, I decided, hey, what's a Star Wars podcast without actually talking about what goes on in the stars? So today we're going to be talking majority about ships, Navy combat, and everything in between. So welcome to the pod, boys. How are we all doing?
Good.
MJ's doing fantastic. That means I must be doing fantastic as well. So today, to get things going and just to liven up the mood a little bit, we're going to be playing a game to kick off the pod, and this is called the Escalation game. Now, Van Seal, look to your left and name the first thing that you see.
My running shoes.
All right, MJ, you now have to name something better, but don't go too overboard, because you don't want to just jump straight to Odyssey instantly. It doesn't have to be next to you. You just name something that's better than running shoes.
Painting of wine bottles.
I can get behind that. I'll give that a pass. And that's how the rule works. If that, whatever gets proposed, the next person then has to either agree or disagree. If it's disagreed, you get a strike. 3 strikes each. Last man standing wins. It's the escalation game. So, a painting of wine bottles, I will go ahead and say a nice cold Gatorade.
All right. I agree. I take the Gatorade over the wine bottles painting because I can't drink the painting.
No, not exactly. And we're not talking about a painting of a Gatorade either. We're talking about a nice cold, crispy Gatorade right out the fridge.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You drink it, it's gone. That painting.
No, you could still hang it up on the wall after you're done, actually. So it's just as equivalent.
You could paint the Gatorade.
You could paint the Gatorade. Yeah. You could paint the empty bottle.
You've never had a drop of that wine that's on your wall. You fraud.
Hey, it looks nice.
Yeah. Sure looks great, but the Gatorade's the Gatorade, man.
Depends on the flavor now.
Lemon lime.
As long as it's not paint flavored, I think it's the best flavor.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. What do you got, Van Seal? What's better than a nice cold Gatorade?
Ooh, I'm actually going to pull this one up. I have a gallon of water.
Gets my pass. I agree. Some nice cold water. You kidding me?
Room temperature. It's not cold, it's room temp.
Ooh.
Room temp. It's not cold, it's room temp.
What do you say, MJ?
Because a gallon of cold water, I couldn't do that. I just feel like that would mess me up somehow.
I mean, I'm personally not a avid water drinker, so I gotta go with the Gatorade over the water.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to give him. You got a strike on your name, Van Seal.
Cool.
Because if it was cold water, I'm game. Maybe a few ice cubes just to keep it having a good time. So MJ,
a gallon though, a gallon.
I know it's a good sell. If you said cold, but you were honest, you know, that was your first mistake. MJ, what's better than a gallon of room temperature water?
I gotta say a portable AC. Portable air conditioner for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you rather AC or a bottle of water?
Right now, I mean, we're in October. I think I would take the water. You tell me. I think I'd rather take the water. That's a strike on you too, bud. What's better than a portable AC unit? I will go with a Bose speaker for the bathroom.
Yeah.
Pretty top tier.
Yeah, you can hide a lot of noises in the bathroom with a Bose speaker, for sure.
Hell yeah. Never hate a shower again. You're just jamming out the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
All right. What's better than a Bose speaker?
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
Damn. What's better than a Bose speaker in the... Okay, I'll play the same vicinity.
Okay.
Because, well, are we allowed to do something that's similar or no?
And it could be anything.
All right. A portable Death Star speaker that I do actually take into the bathroom sometimes to jam out to music.
Deal. I like it. You can never have enough Star Wars in your life.
No.
That's a tough task for you, MJ. You got to one up that. That's going to be tough.
That's for sure. Well, instead of being alone and independent, I'd say I got this. It's a game you play with your friends called What Do You Mean? Oh, it's not gonna show on the.
He just held up a green piece of paper.
That's got to be a strike. That's got to be a
There's nothing there.
strike.
It's literally the boxing button. But yeah,
That's got to
That's
be a
awesome.
strike.
faulty.
So what's better than nothing? Let's say.
Yikes.
I will go with a nice warm bag of popcorn.
Yeah, I'd have. It's tough, but I take the popcorn over nothing.
I think so too, you know? I think so too. Unlucky, MJ, really. Unlucky.
Had one job.
You did. You could have been anything. And you picked nothing.
Wasn't planned, I tell you.
So where are we at now?
On you, and you have to name something better than a nice warm bag of popcorn.
Nice warm bag of popcorn. I'm trying to think of stuff that's around me. I have a container of cashews that's almost gone. Which means I need to get more when I go to the grocery store.
That's for you to decide, MJ. That's for you to
What's
decide.
better than cashews?
No. If a warm bag of popcorn is better than a almost empty container of cashews.
I gotta go with the warm pop. For sure.
2 strikes on the both of you. And MJ, what is better than an almost empty container of cashews?
I mean, I have something, but I've been fooled before.
A Jawa.
Yes. A Jawa.
Oh,
That's pretty sick.
that's pretty good.
It may not be a
pretty good.
popcorn. It's a utini.
Hell yeah. I would say that's better than some almost empty
Yeah.
cashews. Now, what's better than an utini? A plushy utini. The feeling of playing a very good video game for the first time.
Yeah, but okay. How do I...
How do you materialize
That's
that?
not a physical thing.
How do you materialize that?
Oh, it's just...
That's not how the Force works.
Play the game and then said that, yeah.
all right. Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay. I'm gonna one-up that by saying Knights of the Old Republic 2.
I'll one up it with Star Wars: The Old Republic.
They're all kind of equal.
But understandable. It's an understandable hierarchy.
Yeah.
So the Old Republic. I will go with a solid hat.
Ooh.
Like a really solid hat. You can wear it with almost any outfit. It looks good, feels good.
He's looking at the hat I'm thinking of.
No, it's over there. I'm thinking about, because you were talking about plushies, so give me an idea. I'm gonna bring out my Director Krennic pillow. So give me 1 second. I'll get my Director Krennic pillow. I never go to sleep without it.
He's got a Krennic body pillow, bro.
That's crazy, bro. All me included.
It is a body pillow.
Oh my god.
Look at that guy. Oh, he's on the frame. Hang on.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fucking Director Krennic on a pillow. Who sold
Director
that?
Krennic pillow. There you go.
Who sold that, man? Who was like, yup, looks good.
It's a little old, but I mean,
Yeah, it was
probably
definitely sold during the theaters of Rogue One for sure.
yeah.
I hope so.
That's bad. He rolls over. I'm not feeling you, Krennic. Touch his shoulder.
That's a solid item.
Yeah, I would take that over my plush. But I mean, I've had some memories with this plush, so we partied hard. Fought.
Okay. I think I know what I have to beat MJ with. What do you got, MJ?
I'm not prepared. That's green. It won't show. No memento.
It's like everything is green.
I'm about to beat this guy easy. It's gonna be a whole crock of nothing again.
Since we are on the topic of the Old Republic,
I like how we're just getting shit in our room now, just to like, hey, I'm cooler.
lightsaber.
Revan's lightsaber.
Ooh. Nice.
What the hell is she's dying?
Alright. You go with
There it
Revan's
is.
lightsaber. I'm
Oh,
going
boy.
to go with Annie Bobani's lightsaber.
Oh goddamn!
Annie Bobani's.
Me. He can't say no to Annie. He can't say no to Anakin. Checkmate.
Also used by Luke and Rey, both Skywalkers.
And Ben.
And Bean.
Bean.
And Padme Amidala.
Yeah. When she was hiding it.
Yep. Trying to think if anyone else used it.
Obi-Wan.
Probably. No, for sure. He was a nerd.
Checkmate, MJ. He got you.
Nah.
He's trying to get you. You like the cashews. There you go.
All right, Van Still, what is better? Anything in life, what is better than Anakin's lightsaber?
Ooh. Anything in life. Anything in life. So something I don't have to actually own. Okay. I'm gonna go with Desert Eagle.
That's up there.
That's up there. All right. Desert Eagle.
Bro, his daughter's lightsaber.
I think I got to take the Desert Eagle.
God damn. You know what? I'll trade that for a Deagle any day. The lightsaber wouldn't even deflect it, let's be honest.
No.
Yeah, it's a.
You go to
Eagle is
deflect it,
powerful.
and then you got a hole in your clavicle. Okay. What's better than
All
the
right.
Deagle? I will say a Sherman tank.
I would take a Barrett 50 cal over a Sherman tank any day.
I kind of like the tank idea.
You got to. Resale value.
I've been inside one before, like, I don't know, as a museum, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've never been inside of a Barrett before. Sorry, MJ.
I've never been inside an Eagle either.
Yeah, that's true.
Although it's kind of illegal.
Wouldn't the Barrett be considered like an anti-tank round, or no?
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah.
Potentially.
You
Depends.
just see someone
Depends who's
chit-chatting with a
pulling the
Barrett.
trigger. You know, you get Juder back there. You never know where it's gonna go. All right, Van. So, what's better than a Sherman tank?
A-10 Warthog. Those are the planes that go burp burp.
Okay.
AC-130 above.
A-10 Warthog. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool plane. I'll one up you. The Razor Crest.
Falcon.
I take the Razor Crest over the Falcon, I think.
True.
I think the Razor Crest is, like, to me, we get to see a lot of the inside of the Razor Crest, and to me, it feels like, I don't know, it feels like somebody's home. And
Feels like
you
your
know,
like
they go in
first
space.
apartment, you know, where you
Yeah,
just have
so
way
yeah,
too much
They go in
shit.
space.
You have
Yeah.
way too much stuff. And the Falcon it's fucking huge.
the Falcon's huge, man. Like, do you want to be that guy that takes up, like, 3 parking spots? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Like, the mileage on the Falcon's probably awful. Like, I'm sorry, but the Razor Crest, I think, is fine, because most of the time it's just floating. The engines don't work, but, you know.
I mean, if we're talking like favorites, N1 starfighters overall for me.
I could see that, but not for long distance. Because you're stuck in that chair until you land. You gotta go to the bathroom, you're done. You wanna fall asleep, do it in the chair.
Yep. I'm not pissing myself.
You wanna get McDonald's drive-thru, you have nowhere to place that. It's in your lap the whole way. And there's also no cup holders in the N1. Just keep that in mind. No cup holders in the N1. So, short trips, absolutely. Long trips, no way.
That's true.
So speaking of ships...
Speaking of ships, I want to ask you guys big question. What character in Star Wars do you think had the best ship in episodes 1 through 9? So no TV shows, no Razor Crest, but just in the movies. Who had the best ship, in your
When we're
opinion?
talking ship, we're not talking like capital ship, right? We're talking just like a...
I think capitals are included.
I would just say
Right?
Starship. I would just say Starship.
Okay. Ooh, that's a good question.
We can talk about capital ships afterwards, but just...
I'm biased. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna Slave 1.
Slave 1, yeah. I was waiting, and I was like, if he doesn't answer soon, I'm gonna have to cut in
Dude,
mine.
Slave 1 is like...
Dude, hearing that seismic charge is...
Just... Yeah, that and like, it's just so...
Especially in theaters, dude. Just that
It's got like it's got defense, it's got offense, it's got multiple cabins.
It's like the Razor Crest's dad.
Yeah, that's honestly a really good way of putting it. Yeah,
or like his if you're a fan of a robot chicken, it's like his gay uncle, you know. You want a little bit of the boba. I love the slave one though. My first Star Wars that I saw in theaters was Attack of the Clones. And when I heard that seismic charge go off for the first time, my God.
Yeah.
My God. But yeah,
it's also so unique, and it just stands. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of unique ships in Star Wars that stand out, but I think like Slave One is just different. Like the way it takes off, the way it lands. Obviously, it looks weird and different, but it's just like there's no other ship that kind of like resembles like the Fire Spray gunship. Like there's a lot of X-wings and TIE fighters that you can kind of like when you see certain ships, you can kind of guess like which faction they belong to. Like Slave One, it's just Slave One. Like that's it. So really iconic ship, and just like the way the engines sound and everything. I mean, obviously it doesn't have speed. That's the only thing that Slave One like is really bad at. Just the speed is just not there, but it's got like everything else.
All right, fair. And I mean, it was quick enough. Kept up with the Falcon. Kept up with Obi-Wan Starfighter. And those Jedi Starfighters were fast as hell.
That ship was evaded twice by the same maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Yeah, that's true. Seeing it in the movies, though, the sound, like it sounds like a pod. It sounds like a pod racer.
Yeah.
It sounds really good. I just love the mechanical sound of it, whereas normal starships are, more like ionic.
Yeah.
It sounds like Boba's stopping off in Corellia to fill up with gas, Everyone else is running on ions. He's running on gas. I love the Slave One for sure, 100%.
Every ship, or not even every ship, every sound really has like its own distinct sound, especially within Star Wars. You got the lightsabers, you got Han's blaster, you got Jango's blaster, you got Padme's blaster, the Falcon taking off, the light speed, just even the fact of light speed. So yeah, literally hearing the seismic charge, especially in theaters, and then coming back, in the Book of Boba Fett was.
We got to see a few of them in the Book of Boba Fett too.
Yeah.
That was sick.
And Mando season 2?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the Slave One, do you, appearance-wise, did you prefer it when Jango owned it or when Boba owned it?
Oh, that's a good question. I really like the blue, and I like it when Jango owned it because it also had a different windshield. I think when Hondo in the Clone Wars took over Slave One, and then Aura Singh, like Hondo took it over until Boba was old enough to like drive it and like own it himself. So it kind of just became like the bounty hunter ship that everyone like borrowed for bounty hunter missions. Then Aura Singh like messed it up and she crashed it and everything, so they had to replace the windshield. So Boba's windshield goes a lot lower on the ship, which I really never liked that. I like how like Jango's, it's the original windshield. He's got like the original parts on it still. I think Jango actually has more weaponry on his version because it does get modified and changed over the years till Boba gets it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I really like the blue. Like the blue design really looks good.
Yeah.
My favorite starship, pound for pound, probably has to be the N1 Starfighter. Just the stock yellow Naboo Royal Army Starfighter.
Clean.
It really was, and it really is.
The Ferrari of ships.
Exactly. They're so quick, so agile. They're able to slice through a blockade with no ifs, ands, or buts. and just aesthetically pleasing. It was different than anything that we'd seen. X-Wings,
yeah, they kind of remind me of like a Formula One a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. X-Wings were like these rugged, kind of like boxcars.
Uh-huh.
And then the Imperial ships, they were just too clean and too straight and narrow. And then you have these N1s that come out, and like the curvature and the brilliance of it and the chrome that they used. I felt pound for pound gorgeous. And anytime I'm playing Battlefront 2 on Naboo and we're in the hangar, I'll always pay tribute to the N1 starfighters that are just mounted up. I love the N1s. So when Mando got his, I was pogging out. Of course, then all the neeks were talking about like, oh, it's Anakin's. It's the one that Anakin flew. It could be the one that Captain Pananka was bending chicks over. It's still the N1 starfighter, man. It's still dope as hell. I love it. So do you guys think in any which way a character's ship can enhance or drive home parts of their character?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Boba Fett, you're a huge Boba Fett guy. How does the Slave One kind of coincide with Boba?
So like, first off, the design of the Slave One, the silhouette almost resembles the Mythosaur skull, which, you know, the first time we ever see that in Star Wars is on, you know, his shoulder pad. You know, that's kind of like his symbol that he kind of just like rolls around with, you know, and then it turned into the Mandalorian logo. But I think like even with Jango and Boba, like their ship color scheme matches their color armor scheme. So I think their ship has a lot of character that kind of just like exists with them as well. Mm-hmm. I think that's true for a lot of characters in Star Wars.
I agree. I'm with you there. The thing that comes to mind for me is the Rebels and their X-Wings, you know? White and orange is a huge color concept there. And with the Resistance is white and blue. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you have Poe Dameron's ship, which is black and orange. And that kind of exemplifies how Poe is much more of a rebel himself, even within the Resistance, does what he wants to do, and he's different than everyone else. So that's the example that stands out for me. What about you, MJ?
I kind of feel similar to that, you know, the whole color scheme concept with Poe Dameron's standing out on his own, being more of like a rebellious type than a Resistance. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I also have to side with is same with Van Seal, you know? A lot of what he said made sense.
The thing that I love most about Star Wars is the kind of intuitiveness that people don't usually grasp onto. And with a character like Anakin, right? When he was a child, he was fighting in the Battle of Naboo in the skies in an N1 starfighter, yellow and chrome. So when he grows up to be a Jedi, what color's his starfighter? It's yellow and chrome, you know? So he keeps that synonymous with his character. And for my money, like, Anakin's obviously talked about as the best star pilot in the galaxy. It's really cool that from movie to movie, even though his ship is different, the color scheme stays the same. You know what I mean?
True.
And then when
yeah, that's true, because even when he becomes Vader, he actually still keeps his Jedi Starfighter, except he paints it all like gray and black, and then eventually he transitions to the TIE Advance, and you know, gray and black as well.
Mm-hmm. And I love the TIE Advance, and I was just about to talk about it too, because there was a comic run where he wanted a new ship because his ship was just running not great, and he asked, well, what's so good about this one? It's more advanced. And that's what the TIE Advance was referred to as. So I love the simplicity of it. And then in the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have ships like the Millennium Falcon, the Ebon Hawk, that are just different ships in it of themselves. You know, there's not a lot of ships like them.
I love the Ebon Hawk. I like it more than the Falcon, and that might just be the KOTOR nerd in me. But I used to not like the Ebon Hawk because I thought it was a stupid design. Like, oh, it's just a copy of the Falcon, and it kind of is. But then, like, I don't know why I feel like the interior to the Ebon Hawk makes more sense than the Falcon.
It does.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because the Falcon, like, I don't know. It kind of looks like a hand. Like, if you ever do this with your hand, this is literally the shape of the Falcon. It's like, why is the cockpit all the way out here? And the Ebon Hawk, it's like, oh, it's dead center. It's like, oh, that makes sense, actually. The Falcon just looks like a hand.
That's very true. I'll never unsee that. I'll never unsee that, man. I mean, with the Falcon, at least, though, film after film, you do see different variants of it. With the Solo film, it's pretty much brand spanking new until they fuck it up.
Clean. Yeah, yep.
With the Empire Strikes Back, when you like really see the ship, because like Chewie and Han are working on it damn near the whole film, trying to get it ready for when they take off. You can see just how much shit it's been through. And then once Rey gets it, it's literally falling apart, catching on fire. So I love that the ship is aging along with the franchise. I love that. And I hope one day, one movie, that the Falcon does get retired or put up into a monument or something. Do you think that you'll ever see something like that in a movie with a ship as iconic as the Falcon? Because I think ships kind of deserve write-offs as well.
I actually wouldn't mind if it got blown up. I'm just gonna say it. Like, introduce a new like family ship, a new cruise ship, which isn't hard to do because there's so many of them in Star Wars. Like, it's not just the Falcon. Like the Ghost, for example. I think the Ghost is a fantastic ship. Like, the Ghost in itself is its own character. I think he can easily come up with another version of like the Falcon, like for the next generation of Star Wars characters. Like, I don't think it has to always be the Falcon, because then it's just kind of ridiculous at that point. It's like that one Honda Civic that's been passed down from family member to family member, and you start asking yourself, like, how the hell is this thing still around? Like, what? I mean, Honda Civics last forever, I guess, but it's besides the point.
I know exactly how that feels too, because I got my brother's hand-me-down car.
There you go.
Unbelievable. I would like to. I don't know if I would want to see it blown up, but if it was just like docked somewhere permanently, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I would be. I think what would be really cool is if they not that it's crashed or anything, but I think a really cool idea if I had the option to like not have it blown up would be like if they turned it into like a bar or a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, they just have it like kind of like here it's permanently like the engine's been removed, stripped, all the weapons are gone. Like, it's now a walk-in, dine-in, bar/restaurant kind of a thing. I think that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be sick at Disneyland.
View where it's blue, just replace it with a window.
There you go, man. There you go. Exactly.
Sit down at the Squiggo desk in the Millennium Falcon, eat a Lunchable, have a good time, you know? That'd be sick. I can't wait. I've never been to Disneyland since they added like the Galaxy's Edge. I plan on taking my girlfriend and just geeking out for a weekend, but Yeah, that's something I can't wait to see. Like the literal full size Falcon. That's gonna be
Yeah,
tight.
when you go in it, it's because I mean I live like 20 minutes from there, but like I've only gone a couple times. Like when you go in it, like your first time, it's pretty weird. You're just like you're there, you're in there, and you're just kind of like, what the heck? And then there's people screaming at you to keep walking because you're just like stunned.
I had a feeling that would happen. I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. We'll have to get this podcast very rich and famous so we can just be given a tour of Lucasfilm too, man. That'd be tight. I've always wanted to do a Lucasfilm tour and see like all the behind the scenes stuff, but I don't think they do it anymore, unfortunately. But that was something that I always really wanted to do, to see like what went into the practical effects, stuff like that. But now that we have like the Light and Magic series on Disney Plus, it kind of does that. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of it. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, ILM
very
is literally top tier. It literally pioneered the way for so many VFX artists today. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're
like,
the
ILM,
goats.
We wouldn't have Thanos, with Marvel and all the upcoming feature flicks. Like, I mean, without ILM, we wouldn't have how good of an Anakin we had in Ahsoka.
Without ILM, we don't have much of the movie industry holistically, Everyone was like doing such Weenie Hut Junior effects.
Super Weenie Hut Junior.
And they
budget.
It was terrible. And then ILM came around and they made Star Wars and hit it out of the park. And then everyone started hiring them, They literally changed the world of film forever. It's nuts. And they're probably the reason why people behind the camera get paid a good sizable amount rather than what they probably were getting paid back in the day. So shout out to ILM 100%. Because without floating potatoes and flying shoes, like, you don't get starfighter assaults, It's very cool. Speaking of starfighters, speaking of games, speaking of Galaxy of Heroes, I wanted to talk about some gaming with you guys as well. We're going to kick it off with Galaxy of Heroes and the ship combat to start off before we just talk more so about in general. But with Galaxy of Heroes, I want to know from you guys firsthand what your first experience was, how you got into it, and what kind of got you hooked on it.
So I've been playing almost since launch. I think I started playing a month after launch. Where was I? I was getting hyped because the new Star Wars movie's coming out, Force Awakens, and at the time I was playing the Old Republic. I was playing that game for like 4 or 5, 6 years, and they were having a kind of a rough patch in the game because like the devs just announced this at they're not going to do any more multiplayer content or new raids for 18 months. And we're like, well, I guess we're not playing this game for 18 months because the story stuff you can knock out in like 15 minutes. And they have nothing to do. Nothing to work for. And I was in a guild that was primarily raid focused and PvP focused. So no new content for a year and a half was kind of a tough pill to swallow. So I saw ads for Swogo. And Swogo, they were saying like, oh, if you sign up anytime this month, we'll give you a free 4-star Captain Phasma and a couple other characters that will be automatically unlocked. So I was familiar with these type of games. I played them before, like the character collector games. I was like, all right, Star Wars, I'll try it out, and kind of been playing ever since. I think the fact that it's Star Wars is kind of what like really obviously like kind of hooked me, and then at the time when I started playing, there was no guilds, there was no raids, there was like nothing in this game, and there really wasn't much going for it. But it's a brand new game, and it was something you played like I was playing it like every other day. I wasn't I wasn't doing it every single day. I was like, there's nothing to do in this game, but it's still fun to do like when I have downtime. Play for like 10, 15, 20 minutes and I'm done. Obviously that's changed now. Now it's like, it feels like a full-time job. But yeah, that's been my experience. That's how I got hooked into the game, and then I ended up quitting the Old Republic. I haven't played it since because I was like, well, I want to play one Star Wars game like 100%. So and maybe I'll get back in the Old Republic like a little bit, but for the most part, I haven't picked it up since.
I think we should all hop on and just have a good time, see what happens. You know, that'd be fun.
I'd enjoy it.
Yeah. What about you, MJ? How did you get started on the old Galaxy of Heroes?
It was during a time when my parents were getting divorced. Didn't really have console games or a PC even. To be fair, I'm new to the PC gaming aspects, even though I need a new one. But yeah, so really no internet, just me, my phone, parent in another state. I'm with one parent. Needed a game to play. Found Star Wars. Was interested in looking for Star Wars games, and one of those, Suico popped up, and just going through all the basics. I think just even the basics and just playing the game, like within the first hour, it's either hate it or love it, like hook or deal. You know what I mean? Like a fish. Like if you played it, you played it. So I played it. Even my dad, because I was living with my dad at the time. Even me and him, I remember me and him. We were in the same guild. Even my uncle, I got him into it. And this is all before GLs, like literally like 26. When did the game come out? Like 2016,
2015.
Yeah, it was like 2016.
It came out the end of 2015. So
2016, me, my dad, my uncle, all in the same guild. Ended up getting my brother in the guild, and it just got to a point where, because like, I was a Call of Duty content creator. I was competitive. I mean, I'm just a competitive player in general, Not a
You wouldn't know by
loser.
playing with them. You wouldn't know.
Not a sore loser, just don't like losing. I mean, I'll try to figure out what I did wrong to not lose again. You know what I mean? It's just, anyways. It got to a point where, I looked at my family in the guild and was like, this is casual. I gotta go. And moved on to like competitive guilds, and here we are today, where like my knowledge of the game is, I wouldn't say astounding, but it's definitely up there than most. Not like in the top 5% of the game, because that also involves money and having characters, with the game. Like, it's not just, you can read it all day, but if you can just read and not play with it, what are you really learning? You're just looking at a piece of paper.
And nobody knows everything in this game. There's people that are still discover things like for the first time, like, but then some of those things don't get shared. So there's a lot of like hidden knowledge within this game that never sees the light of day because it's so dependent on like the meta, the datacrons, and it's like there's certain counters that like the top guilds will just like keep to themselves.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Just kind of cool in a way. I mean, there's always discoverability. Kind of what was it that Anakin said? One is never too old to learn, or something like that. So I mean, like this game, people are always learning in this game, and then there's some people, including myself, that just for some reason their brain shuts off with certain kits, and you just like we're just dumbfounded because we can't, like, I don't know. It's a lot to process.
Why the fuck did that happen? I learned something.
Pretty much.
I learned something new today that I'm gonna start working on, and that's that Cal Kestis is the best light side fit for our boy Starkiller. Because in Cal's unique, he gives bonus max health and such. Whereas I'm in no way, shape, or form in a rush to build a Seer Junda team, But
You almost have right?
Exactly.
It's a better home.
Hey, we'll get there one day. But I just look at Visas Mar and I watch her die every time, and I'm like,
Don't gear her.
I want something better.
Hold on. I'll defend Visas a little bit. Visas is good, but the problem, she's one of those characters where she becomes good after you over-invest in her. Like, you can't just get her to R5 and her be good. It's like, no, you gotta take her up, make her thick.
Well, I'm not trying to take her to the gym every day, you know. That's on her, you know. I swiped right on her. This is how I got her. Everyone said, "Oh, get visas for the Star Killer team. It'll be great." It's not been great. She's usually just standing there, you know, holistically. Maybe that's on me. Probably is on me. But
Stick Ray works just fine, and she's an underrated nuke.
exactly. That's what I'm thinking too, man. So 2016 odd is when you started playing the game. When did you get heavily into it?
I want to say the year of 2016. By the end of 2016, got competitive, but then fell off and took a year break. Once I got settled in another state, I re-downloaded the game, and I'd say that's when I got more competitive. By like late 2017, I think. I'm trying to remember because I came back to the game right before SLKR and Ray came out, and they came to the game, and I joined back into my family guild, but then obviously left again.
I think 2017, late 2017 or late 2017. I think when SLKR and Ray came out.
Yeah.
2017, 2018. I can't remember the year, but it was around that period.
Yeah, just haven't put the game down since.
See, I feel bad because I got Jute and Fred to play the game because I was playing it, you know. And the way that I found it was I was chilling on TikTok, scrolling, and I got an ad that said,
"Oh no,
join now and get a free 5-star Lord Vader." I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, look at that face. Yeah, these ads are so stupid.
I remember it like it was yesterday. Join now and get a free 5-star Lord Vader. And it was the Lord Vader twirling his lightsaber there menacingly. And I was like, sick. You know, I've seen ads for this before, but now they got Dark Side Anakin out here today. I'll give it a go.
Let them cook. I'm gonna let them cook.
Hopped in the game. They gave me, what, a 3-star Anakin, Jedi Knight Anakin, and a 2-star Ahsoka Tano. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And they give me
send you an in-game message saying, "Gotcha."
2-star
Gotcha.
Gus Fring. And I'm like, what the hell am I meant to do with this, man?
Los Pollos Hermanos.
That ad is up there, though. I'm not gonna lie. I actually enjoy the devious and the manipulation within that one. The one that I know, just like frame to frame, is the ad starts. Galaxy of Heroes join now to and unlock GLs, right? And it starts off with Scav Ray at like 2-star, and then you get her to 5-star, and she upgrades like a goddamn Pokemon to Jedi Shining Ray, and then you get her to 7, and boom, she's fully evolved to a Galactic Legend.
I saw that same one, but with Farm Boy Luke to Jedi Knight Luke into GL Luke. I saw the exact same one. I'm like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, I know.
You're lying.
Yeah, Farm Boy is supposed to be at the end of the evolution.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
With his Omicron.
Oh yeah, man.
It's popping on.
Yeah.
And with Squiggo, Van Seal, what was the first character that you, quote unquote, had to have? The very first character.
Like the first character I got, or the first character that was like this is my path.
That one. The path. It could be the first character that you wailed on.
I don't remember the first character I wailed on because I think I even wailed when AP first came out, which was stupid. Like that was a dumb decision. Anyways, I think the first character that kind of started crafting my identity, my profile in the game was probably Bosk.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever actually shared this story, but Bosk is the origins of how I became the bounty hunter guy, or whatever people call me these days. I was actually all in on First Order, Captain Phasma lead, and Jawas.
Nice.
Those were my first two meta teams. Like, I loved Jawas. I thought Jawas were so cool because they were the only team that can do reduce cooldowns, and they can do bonus protection, which no team had bonus protection at the time, which I was like, that's kind of nuts. And then I liked Phasma just because the randomness of how many assists you can get. So it's like, just, I don't know, I just thought Phasma was really good. But when Boss came out, that is when they also reworked the bounty hunters. And when they did the contract system, I was like, I have to have Boss because his lead is nuts. Bounty hunters got reworked. I was all in. I thought they were so broken. I was like, this contract thing is endless possibilities because if we get more characters, we're going to get more contracts. And more contracts just means different avenues to get to the objective. So I like the fact that there's like a mini game inside the game. Like, you have to get this gold, get this contract, and then you get these crazy bonuses. It reminded me a lot of, at the time I was playing another mobile game called Hearthstone, and my favorite meta in Hearthstone was the quest decks. So like a quest deck in Hearthstone was like, you had one card, you always drew it your first turn, and it was your quest, and you'd always play it on your first turn, and basically it's like a contract. It's like, if you played X amount of spells or destroyed X amount of minions, you got an insane power boost, and then you just overwhelmed your opponent. So that came out, the Bounty Hunter rework came out almost like right when the quest decks came out in Hearthstone. So I was like, that's kind of a coincidence, but no, I just fell in love with Bounty Hunters ever since, and you know, just really, I really thought they were just a really badass faction.
They are. They really are. They're sick. It's something that I will never understand them. You could put out a video series like Bounty Hunters 101, Bounty Hunters 201, Bounty Hunters 303, Bounty Hunters 330 Diversity Course. I would never understand Bounty Hunters. I will never understand them. I just know hit them, do this, do that, burn them all, have fun, you know. Bounty Hunters are my have fun team, and my Bounty Hunters suck, so I feel you, bro. What about you, MJ? What was your favorite or first, like, gotta get that team going?
I mean, there's literally three, but when it comes to passion, where it was like, I can say, like, I'm happy I spent an ungodly amount of money on and was still happy, was Dark Trooper. I mean, it's definitely much cheaper to farm through the weekly shipments, you know, with the 4,000 for 50 shards. But I pulled one of those where it's a whale or fail, and at the end I didn't fail. I was pure whaling. I got my Dark Trooper, took him instantly to R8, and then, you know, X amount of time later, CG was like, hey, we're going to take him back to R5. Oh, what are you doing? Everybody else got a nerf but Dark Trooper, so for that I'm thankful. He just got derelict, that's all.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dark Trooper, though, that's a shout. That's a nice, unique shout. For me, my whole aspiration in this game has just been build characters that I like. Build the Skywalkers, this, that, the other. And of course, I started playing, 2021, you know, and here we are 2 years later, Bing chillin'. But for me, the first character that I said, if they ever bring out a Cal Kestis, I gotta get it. And I told the boys, as soon as he's accelerated, I'm stopping what I'm doing, getting me a Cal Kestis. Because I never do those one searches. You kidding me? They gotta be accelerated for me to feel worth it, you know? But that's what I'm hyped for, to get Cal Kestis. But if that doesn't count, Jedi Knight Revan, for me, pound for pound, best character in the game. In my heart. He's
good. He's good, man. He's a good one.
I know he used to be great. I know he used to have a meta that was even before my time.
No, he's still really good. He's still really good. When you get the other Cal, dude, oh man, it's like, and the other Cal is basically like his cat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he makes Jedi Revan really, really good.
He was my first relic, and he literally carried my account until I got SLKR.
Nice.
Him, Bastila, Jolie, Grandmaster Yoda. and Anakin Skywalker is the 5th because I didn't build a Padme team yet. That team carried my account and was just the most fun. So big shout out to Jedi Knight Revan. And that kind of brings us to the next topic, which is Knights of the Old Republic. Now, Squiggo right now is really the only game, Star Wars wise, that is getting live content updates. Battlefront got essentially canned.
Owned, but yes.
With their final update. And there's really nothing else Star Wars wise that's getting live content. We keep getting nothing but story games with stuff
announcements of story games. I mean, the only game that we've been getting is the
Jedi series games. Do you think that they need to do something with KOTOR that enables it to become a multiplayer game? Or even just a co-op, an online co-op game, so you can invite a friend and he can ride along with you.
So I think because they're remaking KOTOR 1, and I think what they could do, honestly, like, and this would be very simple. I mean, this is kind of like what a lot of older games used to do. There's a lot of like single player games that like had the option of co-op, but it doesn't change the story. Like, it's like, you know, like the cutscenes will still feature just one of you, you know, or whoever's player one kind of is like the main character, so to speak.
Whoever's the red one.
The big brother.
Yep.
But I think KOTOR 1 could be co-op, and I think if you do co-op, just increase the difficulty or something like that. But I think that'd be a lot of fun. You know, it's just it's unfortunate how there's such a lack of Star Wars games, because I feel like the golden age of Star Wars games was like the GameCube, because you had Rogue Squadron and Rogue Squadron 1, 2, and 3. Well, 1 was on the N64, but you had Rogue Squadrons 2 and 3. You had a Clone Wars game that was like it's not canon or anything, but it was like a really crazy fun Clone Wars game. You had, I think, the Obi-Wan game on the Xbox. You had Jedi Starfighter. The Jango Fett game, not the best game, but, you know, it's still fun to play nonetheless. But
you also had Star Wars Clone Wars, like the live action game.
Yep.
Battlefront 1.
Lego
Star Wars 1.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Jedi Knight Academies.
There were so many games out then. It's like, and now we're getting like 1 or 2 games a year, and I get it that they're trying to focus on like these incredible stories and single player stuff, but the problem is a lot of these single player games don't carry a lot of replayability. Like the replay value is really low, which isn't always true for single player games. I mean, like, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, and like I mean, the last one that came out, Resident Evil 4 Remake, like, I probably have, off the top of my head, like at least 20 playthroughs. Like, and I'm a super fan. I'll admit, I'm a super fan. But like, a lot of these games, like, they just have replay value. Like, a lot of people that played the Cal Kestis games, like, I didn't get the second one. I didn't get what is it, Jedi Survivor? Yeah, I didn't get Jedi Survivor, and I watched people play it, and they're like, once they played it, they were kind of done with it. And even when I played the first game, I've only played the first one, Fallen Order, twice. So I don't know. I mean, I think co-op would be a lot of fun. I think there definitely needs to be more multiplayer game.
Has to be.
Star Wars, what was it? What was Squadrons? Squadrons was really fun when it came out. Unfortunately, they did a really bad job at like providing good quality assurance support, whatever you want to call it, to the game, because when the game launched, there was a lot of bugs with like the ranking system and the way you leveled up. So that was like a huge blunder to like the player base, because everyone was really frustrated that like they couldn't unlock stuff even though they've already unlocked it. But it was a really fun game. I don't even know if it's still, I don't even know what the player
everyone that's on there is just their sweats. Like, they're all max level sweats. It's kind of like Battlefront, but even to a more drip fed degree. Like, there's maybe, I can try looking it up, but there's maybe less than 100 people worldwide on each console.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I mean, I don't know, I wish they came, like, I honestly don't care about single player stuff with Star Wars. Like, single player Star Wars games are fun, but I feel like we have so much of them. Like, it would be great if they just came out like a because I think Call of Duty did this a couple times where like there was no single player, it's just multiplayer. Like, I think you can download like the Warzone mode for free. It's like a battle royale. I'm like, how cool would that be to have a Star Wars battle royale? Which everyone tells me just play Fortnite because of all the skins they have. It's basically a Star Wars battle royale now. I'm like, that's true, but
you can put skins on something, but yeah, I think they missed the boat. EA missed the boat on a Star Wars BR, but I know why. It's because they have Apex, you know, and that's their baby.
I mean, I don't think they missed the boat. I think they purposely wanted the rights to Star Wars. Because what was the original contract was like 10 or 11 years where they had the exclusive rights to only make Star Wars games.
It was a 10-year exclusivity contract.
So I think the reason they did that was because they didn't want anyone else making Star Wars games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't want their competitors profiting off something that they may or may not be interested in. So they just bought the rights so their competitors don't make money, and they would pump out a game every 3 or 4 years, and the games would be kind of subpar. Because Battlefront 1 came out. Battlefront 1 was okay. Wasn't that great. It was okay. Battlefront 2 came out. Campaign was very, very controversial. The multiplayer sucked. That the fact that they had to rebuild the entire, like, within the entire first year of that game's lifespan, they spent rebuilding the game. Which I can't believe they did, because it's very rare to see a developer reinvest in something they already invested in. So they rebuilt the game and they actually fixed it and made it, what it should have been at launch. Unfortunately, they lost a whole year's worth of its lifetime on it. So, but yeah, no, EA needs to. I hope other developers start to make Star Wars games, because EA just hasn't done Star Wars justice, in my opinion. So, I mean, as pretty as Battlefront, the new ones, don't get me wrong, the prettiest looking games I've ever seen. But, gameplay is kind of what's more important.
Yeah, and there's no bigger Battlefront fan than me. I love the game to death. I had to look it up to see if it was an Xbox or PlayStation, but I'm gonna put it in chat for you guys, and then I'll put it on the screen for the video watchers. But I picked up a special edition PlayStation 4 Pro just for Battlefront. I was so freaking hyped. I remember that one. Yep. And man, it was sick. I was so hyped for it. And once it came out, it was like there was a lot of controversy behind it, and I wasn't looking into stuff back then.
I mean, do you remember that the game got banned in Hawaii
and Netherlands?
Yeah,
I had a Dutch friend that couldn't play the game. Because the gambling. Yeah, the governor of Hawaii was like, he wanted to ban the game from his state, and everything was crazy. Yeah, and I don't blame anybody. I don't think gambling really has a place in gaming yet. The reason why I believe that we're in such a bad economy for Star Wars games is because companies are just trying to maximize in-app purchases, and that's all that they're trying to gain.
Yeah, I think that if they're a bit more transparent with things, I think they would have been fine. Like that's the funny thing is, like, if you notice, like, and I'm not gonna get political or anything on this, but like if you look at like the mainstream media, like a lot of people say, like, you can't trust this source, you can't trust that source, you can't trust this person, but like you listen to people like Alex Jones, who clearly have an agenda, who clearly have a side, or Steven Crowder, for example, and they're totally fine with these people because these people openly admit that they are more skewed this way versus that way. But like, at least they're telling you, like, they're transparent about it. So it's like, a lot of these news organizations will never say that, they're trying to be bipartisan. And I feel like with games, when it comes to microtransactions, if you just straight up tell people, like, hey, by the way, like, there's gambling involved in this game, there's microtransactions, if you're just straight up, like, honest with people, I think it wouldn't have created such a problem. But the fact that they try to market it as leveling up or acquiring gear, or loot boxes is the popular term. I think that's where it got them a lot of trouble because it wasn't that at all.
Yeah, and it's I was watching a YouTuber talking about microtransactions, and in games that are free to play, sometimes people feel, if you love a game, you'll spend money on it. That's kind of the course of the gaming economy these days. If you love a game, you'll spend money on it, and you will not enjoy it more, but you'll have more enjoyment with the game, because you will feel like, okay, my money's going towards something I love. These days, there's nothing really that I've fell in love with game-wise that I would feel happy enough to shell out, tons of money on games. I haven't picked up these Lightspeed bundles were the first in-app purchases of mine in the past 2 years, because I used to have an in-app purchase problem. So nowadays I don't spend on any game, let alone on games that I don't love. And I know with my buddies, with a bunch of other people, they'll spend money on games that they just pick up only for them to ditch 2 weeks later. And that's what I fear for the gaming economy, especially the Star Wars game economy. Luckily, we are in an age of nothing but story games, but when the eventual MMO or multiplayer game comes around for Star Wars, I'm afraid that it might get riddled with these microtransactions,
Oh, I mean, it's going to be there, but I don't think microtransactions are as bad as they used to be. I think a lot of microtransactions nowadays are, you have some that are pay to win, right? Some I like to call those skips, because they let you skip in a battle pass, let you skip the first 10, 20 levels, whatever, and not a big deal. But most microtransactions these days are cosmetic based. So I'm totally okay with, if you want to buy a different color Stormtrooper helmet, that's fine. I really don't care.
Yeah. It'd be cool in games, to allow for customization more than getting better gear, getting better stuff, better this and that. If Squiggo put into the game that you could switch skins on tunes, I'd look into that, because the whole thing that's putting me off on GL Luke is that it's old man Luke. I'd love for it to be Jedi. If Jedi Knight Luke and old man Luke just traded appearances, I would have already had both of them by now. But the issue is, I just have such a problem with how they handled his character that he's not a last priority, because I will get him, but Luke Skywalker is one of my favorite characters, and CLS is my best Luke on my account right now.
Go for Farm Boy.
I know. I gots to. But I just hope that in the future we get more multiplayer Star Wars games, at least a co-op,
Yeah, so Star Wars Outlaws, if that game doesn't have online multiplayer functionality or some kind of co-op, I might skip on it.
It does not.
Have they confirmed that?
Yes.
Wow.
I'll pull it up just to make sure.
Another missed opportunity. Because they haven't said whether or not I think it's going to have multiplayer, but if it's not, then yeah, I'm probably just going to skip on it, because I'm I just want to play a Star Wars game with my friends, and it's I don't know why that's such taboo nowadays, it's
Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws will strictly be a single player game.
Then yeah, probably not going to get it then.
I know why. It's because they're making games now be canonical. I think they need to just get out of the state of mind.
Star Wars Outlaws,
Battlefront 3,
KOTOR 3. I mean, Star Wars Outlaws reminds me so much of Red Dead Redemption, and that was such a fun co-op multiplayer experience, and I'm like, I just don't understand why.
When they announced Outlaws, I thought holistically that they would have an online mode where you can design any character that you want, any bounty hunter scoundrel that you want, customizable ships, this, that, the other.
Yeah. And another item.
And they didn't. And it's like, why has no one made a GTA but set in the Star Wars universe?
Hey, that's kind of what it looks like. There's a lot of GTA elements that are in Outlaws, but unfortunately, they missed the biggest one, which is multiplayer.
Now, this isn't to say GTA started as just multiplayer. What if Outlaws 2 becomes like you get the story, but you also get the online?
I don't want to wait another 7 years, but you know.
I know. We're getting old.
Yeah.
We're getting old. MJ's getting old.
Yeah, I don't know why they just hate multiplayer so much. I mean,
I don't know why they hate customization. Like, create your own fucking character, forcing us to, a lot of
Jedi Knight Academy remastered.
A lot of people have an issue that you have to play as a girl. I don't care if you're playing as a girl, an alien, a dude, whatever. I just want the chance. Even in Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, they took out character customization.
Yeah, they did, and there's also no co-op in it either.
And there's no online co-op. Like,
there's no online period.
Yeah, like,
I'm like, big missed opportunity there.
I can't play this game with my friends. This big ass open world game. Like, you're missing you're missing the mark. But
yeah, it's pretty bad.
So, would you guys like to jump to the mailbag segment and save the rest of the stuff for next week? We could totally do that.
Let's do that. Let's totally do that.
I'll kick us off here, as there are 3 of us. We have this organized in a spreadsheet, y'all, so I'll kick us off. And our first question is a write-in from Michael in Santa Clara, California. What do you think is... I think he meant who. Who do you think is the most underrated character in the original Star Wars trilogy, episodes 4 to 6, and why?
Good question.
Most underrated character. So I think immediately the big 4 would be off. Vader would be off.
Yep.
Palpatine would have to be off. And Boba would have to be off, because Boba is kind of like everyone's most underrated character. So beyond those, man, it's tricky.
I mean, I have
an idea.
What are you thinking, MJ?
Lando for me.
Okay.
How you doing, you old pirates? So good to see you. You know? I mean, there's so much vibe with Lando and Billy D. Williams that you just kind of want more in the original trilogy, but you don't get it. You know what I mean? Because it's scripted.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, luckily we get Lando in every new thing that comes out now, though. So what about you, Vancil?
Wedge.
You know what's crazy? I was gonna say Biggs, bro. I was gonna say Biggs.
Wedge, because to think about what he's done, he's fought in 2 Death Star battles and has survived. Mm-hmm. Not many people have done that. And he's just Luke's wingman. He's Luke's wingman. He was there on, the Death Star battle, first Death Star, second Death Star. He was there in the Battle of Hoth.
Hooked him up with Mara?
Yeah, in the, that's not in the original trilogy, but yes, yeah. Wedge is he is a passive background character, but when you look at his rap sheets, dude, he's been there. If Luke was there, he was there too.
Mm-hmm.
And for a character that doesn't get a whole lot of lines or a whole lot of screenplay, I feel like Wedge was always he was Luke's wingman, and I think that's some pretty big shoes to fill.
I'm gonna go opposite end of the spectrum. You both picked Rebels MJ picked the Scoundrel. I'm gonna pick Grand Moff Tarkin. I think
Another good one. Yep.
I think he exemplifies just the ultimate face of superiority and the exaggerated swagger that he has with his character. Unreal. And the fact that he was doing it all wearing some slippers is crazy to me.
He's the only man who can literally say one swift stroke and not mean in a perverted way. It's intimidation. And
he kept Vader in his place, you know.
Yeah.
When Andy Bobani was getting a little choke happy, missing Padme a little bit.
Put him down.
Vader, release him. As you wish.
It's not Padme.
I'm not Padme, you big robot. Yeah, Tarkin for me though, man. He was sick. I loved him in Rogue One as well, if you count that. And
I mean, literally, Peter Cushing created a legacy for the character.
Yeah.
He only did it once, and
yeah, he's only in one movie.
He's only in one movie, and they have they've reused him in Rogue One. They used him in the animated shows. They put him in Clone Wars, where you see a younger version of him.
He's in Revenge of the Sith.
Yep, he's in. Although Revenge of the Sith, if you look at the behind the scenes, dude, like, oh my god, like, thank God it was a faraway shot, because if you see his face, it looks like a Halloween mask. It was bad. So it worked in a faraway shot, but
just the aura of Tarkin, man. I felt like you feel it every time he comes on the screen. Just this little guy getting followed along by Vader, but he just walks like he's pissed off, like someone put salt in his sugar when he was mixing his coffee.
Yep.
Love me some Tarkin. Love me some Tarkin. You got the next question, MJ? Not MJ, Van Seal. Sorry, I got myself out of place.
So we got Sarah from Orlando, Florida, as they would say. Florida. If you could pilot any starship in the Star Wars universe, which one would it be and why? Millennium Falcon, X-Wing, Slave One, or something else? Ooh, so now we're branching out of the movies. You said Star Wars universe. If there's a ship I could pilot outside of the in the universe of Star Wars, what would it be? Ooh, that's a good question. I think if I was gonna pilot a ship, I think I would go to the Old Republic, and I would pilot the Sith agent, or the Sith agent's ship. So that ship is basically the Aston Martin of Star Wars ships. It looks like a Naboo starfighter because it's all chrome, but like it's a little bit bigger. It's like a cruise ship, but it is sleek, it is clean looking, it is super nice on the inside. I mean, high-end furniture, high-end everything. I think there's even a butler droid that comes built with the ship. That would be my ship. That is a really, really nice one. I forget what it's called. I'm gonna look it up right now while they give their answers.
Do you have yours, MJ?
Mine's definitely got to be the N1.
Yeah,
definitely.
Mando's modified one, or just the OG Rolls Royce?
The yellow Rolls, for sure.
100%. The funny thing is, right? I just got back from Scotland not too long ago, and on my way back from Scotland, we were literally, I'll tune this up so you guys can see it too. We're literally flying in. Oh, you're not gonna be able to see that. Hold up. You're gonna see this, goddammit. Don't know if you can see it, but we were literally flying in a Rolls-Royce plane. And it was so tight. Oh, maybe it's too bright. Let's turn it down. There we go. Too shallow.
A little bit.
Put it in the middle.
Wow.
Yeah, we're literally flying in a Rolls-Royce plane.
Looking like a cinematic from The Last Jedi.
And oh my god, we had this neek on the plane that got out. He got out of the plane when we landed, or when we were doing our connection. He got out, stands next to it like this. It's like, what are you doing, dude? You don't own it. Why are you flaunting it? But for me, man, it's tricky. It's tricky. I don't want to say the N1 because I said that earlier. But
Well, you're thinking. I looked up my ship. So
Okay.
it's called the X-70B Phantom class prototype.
the Phantom classes were sick.
The X-70B Phantom class, and I mean it is like a clean. It looks like it's from Camino, like that's how clean it looks, but it's clearly not. But it just looks clean as hell.
It looks like Padme's ship a little bit.
Yeah, it does look like it's from Naboo, but like it's just a nice ship, man, and the interior is like really, really clean, really nice. It's got a lot of different rooms and cabins. But yeah, stealth is its specialty, I guess.
So I have a real answer and a joke answer. The joke answer would be the Republic dropship, the clone dropship, just to see if they were actually playing Fortunate Son on loop, you know. But the actual answer would be the TIE Space Superiority Fighter, which is Kylo Ren's TIE fighter. It was the fastest TIE fighter ever built. And
Which one is which Kylo Ren? Is it the TIE Silencer or the TIE Whisperer?
I believe it's the
Sorry,
Silencer.
the TIE Whisperer.
I think it's a silencer.
This one would be, let's see,
If it's got the red cabin that looks like an interceptor,
it's Silencer.
Whisperer.
Yeah.
It's a Silencer. Okay,
Yeah.
the one from Battlefront 2, right?
Yep. It was the fastest TIE fighter ever assembled, and it was big enough that he could do calisthenics. He could,
What does that word mean?
he could stretch out. He didn't have to be all cramped up. I was gonna say one of the Jedi starfighters.
Yeah.
Oh, like not like an N1, you mean?
Correct.
Like the normal TIE fighters, you couldn't really. You could sit there. You can probably recline the seat, and that's about it. But his was. It's a little bigger.
I love me some Trilla ship too, you know. That was the
Interceptor?
Yeah, that was
Prototype?
what his ship. That was like the blueprints that they used to build his ship with a more advanced engine, which is very
Makes sense.
cool. And her ship was only given to her because she killed another Inquisitor and was awarded that ship, which was pretty tight. Love me some Trilla. Love me some Fallen Order. Fallen Order over Survivor any day.
Agreed.
The next one, we have David from Boston, and he asks, with the emergence of the prequel trilogy, how did it impact the perception of the original trilogy's characters and events? Did it enhance or detract from the overall story? That's a solid question, because I think we're all prequel trilogy cats.
Yes.
We all grew up with it. That's where we grew. For me, Anakin was Anakin before he was Vader. You know? I don't think I watched episodes 4, 5, and 6 until I had seen 1, 2, and 3.
I watched the original trilogy before because they re-released them in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched them on VHS. So for me, when the prequels came out, it kind of just added more to the Star Wars fandom because it was kind of like, I mean, this is a simple analogy, but it was kind of like a connect the dots moment. It was oh, this is what Obi-Wan was like. Oh, this is what Darth Vader was like before he was Darth Vader. I wonder how we're going to get from point A to point B, kind of a thing. So it just added more. I don't think it really detracted from anything. I think the only thing that got detracted was Jedi and lightsabers. And this is kind of a weird one, maybe a hot take, but like for me, you know, the original trilogy, it's like Luke, Darth Vader, like these ancient, almost extinct fighters with these crazy weapons that nobody else has. Everyone's shooting blasters, and when you go to the prequels, there's like literally hundreds and thousands of lightsabers and Jedi, and you're just kind of like, oh, I guess they're not so special after all.
Mm-mm.
Even the kids have them. It's like,
Yeah.
The kids have them.
I love that's the kind of stuff that I like. The cool thing I was able to do was my girlfriend, she never watched Star Wars ever. And I decided, well, let's watch it together. Episodes 1 through 9. And she knew what Darth Vader was, but she never knew it was Anakin. So at the end of Revenge of the Sith, she just sat there in like dead silence, and she's astonished. She's like, I didn't know. She whispered it to me. I didn't know Darth Vader was Anakin. That's so sad.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, damn, to watch this for the first time again, I would pay $1 million. Genuinely. Because to be able to have that organic reaction, man. Because I knew of Vader. Didn't necessarily know it was going to be Anakin until like episode 2 came out with all the merchandise and they were putting Anakin with Vader. And then I think it got spoiled along the way. I don't necessarily remember. It's kind of like finding out when Santa Claus isn't real. But I found that the prequels added so much to the originals. Because it just gives you context, you know?
And, you know, what's funny, too, is like, as, you know, when I was growing up, you know, I grew up with the prequels, like, the one thing that, like, and this might be a little weird, but, like, the one thing I was more into, because, like, I kind of already knew, like, I know Anakin's gonna be Darth Vader, like, I didn't really care so much about the journey, because I was, you know, so young. I was just more interested in, like, what are the new walkers gonna look like? What are the new troopers gonna look like? Because that was, like, my big thing. I was, like, I loved, like, oh, man, like, I hate the Clone Wars walkers. They're not as tall. And they got 6 legs. That's so weird. But then it's like, oh, now I appreciate, like, you know, all the different vehicles and stuff. So, I mean, Star Wars does repeat itself quite a bit, but, like, when you have different eras, like, it's really cool to see, like, that technology or that type of weaponry, like, reflect on its time period, I guess. So that was something that I was always looking into, like what are the new designs they're coming up with, the new troopers. Oh, God, thank God they fixed clones, man, because clones Phase 1, dude, they look bad. I don't know what it was about Phase 1 armor, but, like, the little dots they had on their chest to signify their ranking, and then the droids too. The battle droids in Episode 1 were awful. Mm-hmm. So thank God they fixed battle droids and clones, because their first batch was not good at all. Might even call it a bad batch.
Love me some Bad Batch, man.
Great show.
You got the next one, Van Seal?
Yeah. So we got Emma from Macon, Georgia, right?
Macon. Yeah, shout out to The Walking Dead.
Oh, duh. Okay. Sorry, I never finished it, but yeah. Which non-human force-sensitive, very specific, which non-human force-sensitive character do you find most intriguing and why?
Do you want to kick that one off, MJ? I might need some time to think about it.
Yeah, so my favorite, he's unfortunately not canon, has to be Dasam from the old Jedi Knight Academy games.
That overgrown monkey lizard?
Yes, the overgrown monkey lizard was absolutely phenomenal. He had this godlike voice that, like, was like James Earl Jones's, like,
he had a great voice. Yeah,
like,
he had a really good voice
like
actor.
James Earl Jones's half brother. Like, his voice was, it was so great, dude. Like, you can just envision. I don't know what exactly envision, but it's just a great voice. Like, and what intrigued me the most was, like, he's this monkey lizard thing. Like, he's a dinosaur looking. He's like a what are they? Not the big dinosaurs, the velociraptor. He looked like a velociraptor with legs.
Mm-hmm. He looked like he came straight out of a Turok game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen gameplay of that game, but I do want to eventually play it.
He was very cool. That's a good one. I think Non-human. I mean, non-human force sensitive. A character that intrigues me. I want to go 2, and I can't decide which one, but I really like Seventh Sister, and I really like Talon. Just because they're hot. That's it. That's my answer.
Don't lie, bro. You think the Ninth Sister's bad as fuck. Don't lie.
I have a thing about women, and I typically, when I like women, I like them to have both of their feet. So that's kind of the deal breaker with my sister.
So Vancia likes feet. Confirmed. W. War.
I just like 2 feet. I like 2 feet.
She likes both feet. Nice. All right. My favorite non-human is Plo Koon. Anyways, next question. John from Naperville, Illinois. What is your favorite what if from the canon of Star Wars?
Okay, hypotheticals. Favorite non-canon.
No, from the canon of Star
from
Wars.
the canon.
Oh, from the canon. Oh, I misread that. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. From the canon of Star Wars. What if? Okay. This is something I wish we had. I wish instead of Luke and Vader fighting each other in Return of the Jedi, they fight each other, but then they both fight Palpatine together. I wish we'd have had that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Luke getting his ass kicked by Palpatine, because he technically never defeated Palpatine. Vader did, because he brings Battles of the Force, the prophecy, if you still believe that. But, you know, there was a Lego Star Wars game that did that, where, like, you literally have Vader and Luke, you control both characters
Original
and you guys are
saga.
fighting.
Or the complete saga.
I don't know if it was the complete saga, I think. Yeah, so it was like one of the later, and it was like, oh, this is different. And then when I was playing it, I was like, dude, this is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seeing, like, Luke and Vader team up to fight Palpatine, I was like, this is badass. I mean, it's Legos, so it doesn't, you know. But just the idea of it, I wish we would have had that.
I'm trying to, like, fan fiction in my head how that would go. I think Vader would have to have lost his lightsaber in the battle, or his hand, whatever. And while Luke is on the ground, you know, he chucks his lightsaber, says, "No, Your Highness, you failed. I am a Jedi, like my father before me." I think Annie Bobani gets Luke's lightsaber, ignites it, and goes at it with the Emperor. That'd be fucking tight. John Williams behind it, bro. Bringing a brand new score, brand new music to it, too. Getting goosebumps just thinking about it, man. But that's a sick one. However you go about it.
And then have some royal guards come in to protect the Emperor at the same time, kind of swarming Luke and Vader. I think that would have been an epic fight.
Kind of like The Last Jedi.
Yeah, just, you know, with Snoke not dying, basically. Yeah. Pretty much like kind of like that same similar scenario, but yeah.
I'm going on a binge tonight, all 3.
Good luck.
Thank you. What about you, MJ? I'm curious.
I think my biggest what if is I've said this as a meme in the past, but I kind of want to run with it and see what other people say. What if Obi-Wan was the father
of
Luke and Leia?
Luke and Leia.
Oh.
It makes sense for why they're short.
And then
I'd feel bad about Anakin because he'd be very confused.
Yeah. Like, what?
He'd be very confused. He would think he's the father the whole time.
Wait, so I did all this for nothing?
Wait, so I've been paying my best friend's child support for him the whole time? What? Huh?
Dude, you cut my dick off. It's fucked up, man. If Obi-Wan was the father, they would make sense why he's watching over Luke. Like, it would add up. Not that it doesn't make sense, but it would make sense.
No, you're not my kids. I just care about you.
Oh, how I wish I was your father, Leia.
That one scene where she looks up Where Leia looks at him, "Are you my dad?" He just goes, "No."
How I wish I was. Have you ever heard about Padme Amidala? She had the tightest body in the galaxy. And she was a good senator. And a good friend.
Fine lap dancer.
My favorite what if from the canon of Star Wars would be, what if Padme survived childbirth? What the fuck happens then?
Single mother.
She's been chilling in Puerto Rico, just
Does
living
she
that single mom life.
Does she go into hiding? Does she try and get a hold of Anakin?
So I think she still dumps Luke on Tatooine.
Yeah,
I think she just says like
she's definitely a girl mom.
Screw the idiot, and then she just becomes like a soccer mom with Leia.
Yeah, I have to agree. It makes sense. Dump the boy on the sand planet with his family, and hope to God we don't get caught by the ops, the Empire. Just run in.
I know. Here's another one, man. This irks in my craw. Why the fuck didn't the Larses just adopt Luke? They made it adamant. We are your uncle and aunt. You are our nephew. You are no Lars of ours. You are Luke Skywalker, goddammit. But on the flip side, the Organas accept Leia with open arms. What the fuck, man?
Well, because Luke wasn't trying to hide because no one was looking for Luke. I mean, technically no one was looking for Leia, but I think Leia was more in the spotlight. Being the daughter of an Imperial senator, it's like you kind of have to like give her a new name, I guess.
I know, but they literally had Luke from day one of his existence, and they refused. They refused to just like, adopt him.
Start digging.
Yeah.
I can imagine the Lars.
What are we doing out here, Uncle? We're looking for lightsabers in the ground. Start digging. They're out here somewhere.
Every birthday, the Lars family just looks at Luke as he's eating his cake with a glass of blue milk.
You're no
Lars of ours.
You're no Lars of ours. Well, that's too damn bad. Start digging. It's always just bothered me. It's always bothered me. It's never sat. I want to ask George. If I could ask George one question. Hey, all of it aside, in universe, why didn't they like the kid? You know? Was he too short?
Well, he's too short for a stormtrooper, so he's too short to be a Lars, probably.
Say that to Klieg, who had one leg. He would not be a guy for you, Van Seal.
Yeah, I just think the Lars raised Luke with like a burning hatred. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's why they were so grumpy at Obi-Wan the whole time. Like,
yeah, they just dropped him off. He just dropped him off and was just like,
we're just trying to watch our pod racing, and you brought a baby.
And it was like they didn't even have a choice. They didn't even talk about it. They were just like, okay.
He probably did a mind trick on him.
Yeah, that too. Deleted scene. We'll never know.
Yeah. This is your nephew.
This is your nephew. That's why he's no Laws of Oz.
That makes sense. There answers my question.
Oh,
so next, we got Brett from Austin, Texas. If you can visit any planet from the Star Wars universe, whether from the movies or expanding universe, where would you go and what would you do there? Ooh, that's a good one. I think there's so many planets from the expanding universe I'd want to visit. If I had to pick one, this is gonna get dark. If I'd go to one place, I would go to Oricon.
Okay, buddy.
From the Old Republic.
I don't know if I know that planet. Yeah.
It's basically hell. Think of it as like the Nether Realm from like.
If Mustafar was Minecraft and you popped into a Nether portal, that's where you're going.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I would go to Oricon, and I would approach the Dreadmaster Fortress, and I would probably ask if they're looking for another member.
Hey, you hiring?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Here's my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
My resume.
Yeah, I would go there because that planet is crazy. Like, there's not a whole lot of Star Wars planets that are just like I think the craziest Star Wars planet for like most people that watch like the shows and the movies is probably Dathomir. Oricon is Dathomir on steroids. Right. This place is just like things just die there, and that's it.
Yeah.
It is not a place you can live.
It's pretty gas. It's pretty cool. What about you, MJ?
I mean, I'm still really deciding. I mean, there is a lot of planets.
I've got a few. You think about it.
All right.
My boy Ziskeg, old member of the pod, he would easily say probably Shili, because that's the Togruta homeworld, and he has a thing about their he has a thing about Togrutas. Juder would probably say Ryloth, home of the Twi'leks. Juder's got a thing about Twi'leks. Me, an intellectual, I'd probably pick Coruscant or Naboo.
Yeah, I think I'm landing on Coruscant.
I'll pick Naboo just because it's Italy and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I hope to honeymoon there. So yeah, Naboo. Plus, they have a rich plasma industry that's untapped, you know? And I could...
This man just wants an M1 starfighter. Let's keep it honest.
Hey, bro, don't tell him.
He's going to work his way into the ranks of the militia.
Yeah.
Don't tell him, man. Be like, thur on my first day, just take off. I'm out of here. AWOL, man. On my Sabine Wren grind. So you'd pick Coruscant, MJ. Are we talking AP Gaines Underworld, or are we talking like
I want to say above on
the Kyber Club?
The Kyber Club for sure.
Okay. I could see you as a senator.
Either a senator or make my way as a failed apprentice Jedi in terms of
You could be one of those Jedi that enters into like the work trade. So you become like a gardener.
I bet you, honestly, you can probably just throw on some robes, walk in, they'll never even notice.
They'll never even notice.
They'll never even notice. Just wave, smile.
How do you do?
Hold a flashlight on your belt if you have to, and just no one's gonna notice, man. No one's gonna notice. You see anyone checking IDs at the door? No.
Oh, I'm an exchange student, you know.
Yeah.
Name's off Bandon.
Yeah, my name's Bandon. Name's Bandon.
Just Bandon.
This is my first time in person. All my classes have been online so far.
Yeah.
Oh man.
When the online student shows up to campus. Where's the lightsaber building class at?
Yeah.
That'd be a hilarious sketch. Whether it's like Robot Chicken or just a fan film. Online Jedi class shows up in person, bro. That'd be hilarious, man. Can you imagine Yoda trying to instruct a Zoom class, bro? Like, how do I mute this thing?
Listen, you must.
Yaddle. Chill. Next question we have from Daniel in Scotland. Wara, Scotland. What is your favorite lightsaber duel from episodes 1 to 3, and why do you love it?
Can I have 2?
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll probably include Clone Wars on this because mine's in Clone Wars.
I think we're all gonna say the same ones then.
Interesting for sure. Mine's both live action. Mine is, without a doubt, Phantom Menace, Duel of the Fates, with that wonderful score. And the introduction of Maul. And then the emotional trauma that came with Battle of the Heroes. That score as well in episode 3 with Annie versus Obi.
That one is the GOAT. It's the GOAT. I would say it's the best one.
Question on the question. Lightsaber duel. Could it just be a fight that involves lightsabers? Or does it have to be lightsaber v lightsaber?
Give an answer for both.
Okay.
I think it would. Yeah, I think it would be more so towards dual lightsaber v lightsaber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, technically, okay. Actually, no. The one I'm thinking of actually turns into a duel for a brief moment. So I agree with MJ. The Phantom Menace would have been my answer, but a fight that really stands out to me. And there's not a whole lot of fights in the Clone Wars that stand out to me because it's animation and the fights are usually very flashy and very fast. But there's one fight that I've always appreciated because it is so different from any other fight you get from the movies and the rest of the Clone Wars. And that is, I think it's in season 2 or 3, I can't remember, but it is the fight between Cad Bane, Obi-Wan, and Quinlan Vos. And it is a really interesting fight because it shows how people like there are these expert bounty hunters, expert mercenaries that know how to deal with Jedi and deal with multiple Jedi. Quinlan Vos was pretty skilled. Obi-Wan, we all know, is Obi-Wan. And somehow Cad Bane is able to disarm Obi-Wan while Obi-Wan's using Quinlan Vos's saber and Obi-Wan's because Quinlan loses it in the fight. And Cad Bane just walks up and takes it out of his hands, and then they start fighting each other. And I'm just like, that it just blew my mind. I was like, dude,
what?
Why are you guys struggling? He's already lost one of his blasters. He's already lost one of his little jetpacks on his boots, whatever, or his thrusters, whatever. I'm like, and you still can't get him. It's a short segment. It's a short series, and there's some really cool dialogue that leads up to the fight. They're kind of they're trying to Cad Bane's trying to be neutral and everything. Let's just forget about that we saw each other, and then they're like, you know what? Actually, we're gonna fight.
Yeah. So
that one I really like just because it's just different, and I think it just shows that sometimes the Jedi can really, just because they have a lightsaber, they think that they're the best thing ever, and it's sometimes I think that gets to their heads.
What would your other one be?
I think my other one would have to be Luke versus Vader in Episode 5. Just because there's not so much in terms of theatrics or the fight isn't anything special, but I think it's the emotions in the fight because there is such a build up to, we finally get to see the main character take on the main villain because you don't see that in the first film. And you see Luke has been training, and it kind of reminds me a lot of the Karate Kid, when he loses his first fight. So it's he's been training, and so is Luke, but he's not good enough. He's still not good enough. He has to be better. I think it's really cool to see the hero lose from time to time because it shows you that they still have room to grow. They're not just a super power that's always going to win.
And obviously is strong with you, young Skywalker. But
and the conversation between Vader and Luke, I think, really is I think everyone can recite those lines. So yeah, I don't know. I really and it's really this is the last thing I'll say about the fight. The one thing that really is interesting is the fight kind of drags out quite a bit, to the point where, Luke does get the upper hand in the beginning of the fight, but you can tell he runs out of gas real quick, and Vader's not even struggling, and then the fight quickly turns. So Vader's just getting the upper hand, completely just every move that Vader makes is Luke has no room to do anything. He has no options. Luke always Luke is always walking back in the last minute of the fight. He is retreating, but he has nowhere to retreat to. So it does give you this sense of how the heck is he going to pull this off? Something bad is about to happen, which he ends up losing his hand. So
yeah, and that fight for me was huge because it symbolizes how bad Darth Vader really is, that Luke would rather fall and plummet to his death than join his father and become what his father is, Yeah, that's a sick one. For my picks, I'll pick a live action and a Clone Wars one. Clone Wars, I think Van Steele thought I was going to pick the Maul Ahsoka one.
I did.
I'm actually picking in Clone Wars, you got to see a lot of Mandalorians, right? And you got to see, what's his name? Ooh, what was his name?
Pre
Vizsla against Obi-Wan Kenobi. He throws Obi-Wan his lightsaber and says, "Let's get it on." And that was the first time I'd ever seen the dark saber anywhere, and it made me just fall in love with Mandalorian culture, you know, and want to learn more about it. And the Mandalorians were part of the reason why I got so into Star Wars, because that was my first like deep dive into the lore of Star Wars. So when that episode came out, as soon as it ended, I was hopping on to Google and trying to find out as much about Mandalorians as possible, because I obviously knew about it because of Jango Fett. You can connect the dots with Boba Fett. But once you like get that added explanation, like about Mandalorian history, this, that, the other, then I dove into the Jango Fett book, and it's just like, damn, like this is Mandalorian culture, sick. So that fight scene for me, it's not the best fight scene, but they fight for a solid couple of minutes until he ultimately says, "Fucking someone else get him." But then live action, similarly to episode 5, mine is Vader Luke episode 6, because Vader is simply just toying with him, and he won't kill Luke. So he's kind of pulling a Balin Skull type beat where he's just defending. He's defending the entire fight, and ultimately he gets gassed. And then Luke has the upper hand because he starts tapping into the dark side a little bit, until Luke realizes, oh shit, like this is what I swore not to do and I'm doing it. And psychologically, I think it's the best Star Wars duel that there is. And I just love it. Just love it.
So you both have listed like an animated duel, and I haven't. So I mean, for an animated duel between 1 to 3, to be fair, mine has to be the 2D movie of the Clone Wars with Anakin versus Ventress.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's solid. Ventress always had good fights. I was gonna say Obi-Wan versus Ventress with Anakin on the ship, where she literally had both of them up in a force choke.
Yep.
Before she got sabotaged, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she was on top in that fight for a good amount of it. Ventress was sick. Ventress was sick. No,
the movie had you thinking like Anakin killed her, because like they were on top of like a temple in like an Aztec forest, and he tapped into the dark side and just launched her. Not launched her, but like he did, you know, the Luke, the iconic Luke move that's also Anakin's, you know, the lightsaber spam, just down forward. But he did that to her and just
he did his forward heavy 3 times.
The forward heavy. And he like broke the cliff of the temple at the top and just sent her like just down into like an abyss. Their whole beef arc that they have going on is just splendid as well. You know, it's similar to Maul and Obi-Wan, I think.
Yeah, it's a good rivalry. It's apprentice versus apprentice.
The next question comes in from Jessica in Edmonds, Washington. I was actually born there, so that was pretty cool. What do you think was the most significant contribution or legacy of the Star Wars original trilogy to the world of cinema and pop culture? I think we kind of touched upon that with ILM.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the biggest things that Star Wars has done and George Lucas has talked about is, you know, you need to look for the character, not the actor.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that Lucas was doing is when he was casting his crew, he didn't want actors that were going to be like, you know, recognized as the actor, not, you know, who they're portraying because it takes away from the experience. So he kind of breaks the rule a little bit in the prequels because, you know, Samuel Jackson shows up, but, you know, he has a much smaller role compared to, you know, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Natalie Portman wasn't as big, but, you know, she did a couple things. And, you know, same thing goes with Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher. Harrison Ford did American Graffiti before. But, you know, I think
I look at Samuel L. Jackson, I think Mace Windu.
Yeah.
I think it depends on if you're like a Marvel fan, you might think, oh, Nick Fury, but
I mean, he did you know, the Tarantino stuff before.
Yeah.
He's done all sorts of stuff, and he was also doing movies at the time too of the prequels. So
Lucas only acquired 3 A-list actors, in my opinion. That's Dooku, Liam Neeson, and Mace. Those
Peter Cushing was pretty big.
Yeah.
Peter Cushing was big back in the day. I mean,
everyone else though was just like a low-level, brand new, not even in the Screen Actors Guild.
T-tier actor list. Yeah.
Yeah. Fresh out of college. That's why I love the casting for the sequels, because other than like Oscar Isaacs, who's been a bunch of like no-name stuff, Daisy Ridley was fresh out of acting school. Finn was fresh out of acting school. Forgot his name. John Boyega.
Adam Driver only did a couple things. Like I know he was doing the show Girls before, but yeah, wasn't widely known.
And that's why I think Star Wars is the best IP, because they literally, like you said, Vansfield, they cast characters, not actors. That's why I don't want to see Jack Black or Lizzo in my Mandalorian. Not because I don't want to see them. I don't, but that's not why. They take away and they detract. I shouldn't come out of that episode thinking, oh, Lizzo was in that. I shouldn't.
Even Christopher Lloyd, it's like, are we going back in time now? Like, what's going on here?
And you have to remember that, like, you have to keep that kind of moral, that kind of pillar of what builds your brand. You have to keep that synonymous with into the future. Like, I don't want to see Keanu Reeves as Revan. I want to see.
Really?
No, not one bit. He's old, old as dirt.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Now in this day, I mean, back then, give it 10 years ago when he was playing Neo as in the Matrix. Yeah, for sure.
If you're not casting me as Revan, I want you to cast someone that no one's ever heard of. Like, this needs to be their first fucking role, and they need to kill it.
Nail it. Yeah, nail it.
And if it's not good, scrap it all. Do it again. But that's what I think Star Wars has done. There's not a lot of global huge IPs that do that. Everyone else kind of casts the hot guy in Hollywood, the hot girl in Hollywood.
Yeah, they do a good job at like maintaining the willing suspension of disbelief with their films, even though it is sci-fi. And it says, you know, happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's like you can talk to even like an average Star Wars fan, and they can explain how things work, even though it's like that stuff, that technology doesn't exist, but they can explain it to you because Star Wars likes to, you know, like I said, they maintain their willing suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, 100%.
So next we got Kevin in Los Angeles, California. Is there a specific non-canon Star Wars story that you wish had become part of the official Star Wars canon? I'm gonna go with just the entire Old Republic, honestly. Like everything KOTOR, SWTOR related, just
it's canon now.
Not necessarily.
The Old Republic specifically is not. I don't think. I have to recheck the.
That's what I'm saying. Like only bits and pieces. Only bits and pieces are. I want the whole shebang.
Do you remember that timeline that they released and it has showed all the eras and stuff?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I was referencing.
Here's the thing that kind of blew it for me.
The time period is canon, but like I don't think it's like this period of time is canon, but the stuff that happens, we're not sure what's canon in that period yet. Like they're trying to act like it's unwritten. I'm like, can you just make the whole thing canon, please? It has no effect on anything that we deal with today, but
I need to look that timeline era up on their official website, because I need to make sure that Okay, yeah, we're good then. We're good. I saw
My
something
biggest-
that had Reign of the Empire right next to the Old Republic, and it was with the actual like Republic, and I was like, oh shit, are they just calling it that because the New Republic's called the New Republic? But no, it is the Old Republic, so we're good. We're good.
My biggest non-canon story that I wanted to become canon, and it was especially during the Ahsoka show. I think we had previous podcasts acknowledging what I'm about to say, is Starkiller's storyline. I want him to become canon so effing bad, and I wanted him to fight Ahsoka so mother-loving bad. Literally, the dark side version apprentice of Anakin, Darth Vader, versus Anakin Skywalker's apprentice, Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
But with the knowledge that we have, it's, I think, safe to assume that Starkiller just walks out non-touched.
It depends. It depends.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I wasn't very happy with the way Ahsoka was fighting, so yeah, I could see Starkiller kind of winning.
Well, that's Rosario's fighting, but animation's Ashley, so...
I think it really depends with Starkiller.
Galen Merrick Starkiller.
Yeah.
Like, dark or Force Unleashed.
If they bring him in, they have to dumb him down. Like, they just have to. Otherwise, like,
They don't have to necessarily.
he's gonna flick. He's gonna. Well, if he flicks his finger, everybody dies. It's just like.
Well,
I want to see
that's
a
how
live
Nihilus
action
was.
Repulse. That's what I want to see. Nihilus is another.
Yeah, but
storyline.
Nihilus was a planet. Nihilus is a planet eater, though, man.
And he's
Nihilus,
a star killer.
He's the
You know?
definition of the dark side of the Force taken to levels unimaginable. You, like you said, a fucking planet eating Force wielder, because like that's what feeds, I believe, his hunger, or not his Force hunger. I honestly don't even
keeps him alive.
I'm still trying to. Yeah, so it keeps him alive. Okay, yeah. So he feeds off the Force energy of the planet, and it keeps him alive. That's pretty powerful. That's just under Emperor Vitiate's immortality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why Starkiller is OP. He's like, for the same reason Ahsoka's OP. They're the literal apprentices of Anakin.
But
right?
I haven't seen any feats.
They're
done
the
by
step
Ahsoka
kids.
to see her as
Yeah, Ahsoka's not
anything
OP.
close to Starkiller.
She's OP
Yeah.
in terms of
She has-
combat.
She has more plot. She has more plot armor.
In terms of combat, she's OP as fuck. Hear me out. She went toe to toe with Asajj Ventress in her prime, General Grievous in his prime, Darth Maul in his pseudo prime, depends on how you want to look at it, but in his peak hatred, went toe to toe with Maul, went toe to toe with Darth Vader, went toe to toe with 4 or 5 Inquisitors at a time, killed an Inquisitor without her lightsaber. She did all of that, and half of that she did as a literal child. Combat wise, Ahsoka's OP, man.
That whole list, that last one is the only kill count.
But Starkiller, whether you do the dark side or light side in the Force Unleashed 1. The Force Unleashed 1. I don't like the second game. The second game is just not great. You go dark side, you kick Vader's ass. Okay. Like, you kick his ass, right? If you go the light side, which I believe would be the canon version, he defeats Palpatine after he fights Vader. So you already beat Vader. Now you're fighting Palpatine. And he beats Palpatine. The only reason he loses is because they're like, don't kill Palpatine. It's don't kill kind of a mentality. And then Palpatine's just like, oh, what a loser. And then, yeah, he learned his lesson. But, I mean, you defeat Vader. You defeat Palpatine back to back. I mean, like, I don't see Ahsoka doing that. The only thing Ahsoka does that's impressive, in my opinion, is... And it's kind of funny, actually. Oh, crap. I might have actually cornered myself in this argument. I was going to say, Ahsoka fights Vader and Palpatine back to back, actually. Now that I think about it, she fights Vader on Malachor, and then 2 seconds later, she's in the World Between Worlds running from Palpatine. Yeah, that was a busy day for her, I guess, but she didn't beat him. She beat either of them, so technically, I don't know.
I want to see Force Repulse live action. Like the cinematics, honestly,
bubble.
for yeah, I mean, it's not even the bubble. That's what that I want to see personally. It's the disintegration, like like the embers. When we got that in Mandalorian with the disintegrator rifle, beautiful.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line with Starkiller. Like the fact that he can just like disintegrate people. I'm like, dude, that's like. Busted. Like you need one of those shirts that say like keep back 200 feet or something like that, because like I wouldn't go near that guy. I'm like, if he sneezes or something like that, like I could die.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
Like that's why I'm like, he's too OP. Dumb him down, please.
So I mean, I watched a video in regards to Starkiller pulling down the ship moment, and the video that I watched, they were literally heavily relying on gravity. That's what helped him pull it down more. And
sure.
I was just like,
but you're gonna say like, turns out they're just out of gas.
Like, yeah, like he was like an anchor, but like the gravity was more of like the actual help instead of like Starkiller pulling down the ship. And I'm over here in my brain like, I don't want to believe that. Like, even though gravity is a realistic thing and logic and laws and of physics, it's just the force. We saw it in Vader. Like if Vader can do it, his apprentice, like surely a capital.
Yeah, we've seen it beyond that too. I think with strength, practice, knowledge, and there's a time period right here, right now, from the end of episode 6 or where we're at with Ahsoka to the beginning of the the sequels. I think there's no issue with introducing Starkiller as like the ultimate evil in the galaxy. However you want to introduce him, whatever. Because it can work. Ahsoka versus Starkiller can be the conflict in this tiny period. And
New Republic era, you think?
It totally can be, and it could be part of why they fail.
I mean, here's my thing that I have to say. Like, Rosario Dawson looks okay, in my opinion. Like, just middle ground. Like, she's okay, but she's not bad for playing Ahsoka, portraying Ahsoka. Sam's pretty old now.
That's fine. That just means he would age perfect. He ages with the character.
Yeah, he would be old. Yeah, here too.
Just like Obi-Wan. Everyone's like, "Oh, Ewan McGregor's gonna play Obi-Wan again." It's like, dude, he looks perfect.
Just like, here's another question. Right now, with no shows airing, I know this is an off question, but this is just one that I have, and then I'll stop being myself. How would you introduce Starkiller in this day and age? If it was a board pitch meeting.
I like the idea of him being Marok, or not like him being Marok because Marok's dead, but like I like the idea of him being a surviving Inquisitor, because that's what he was in the Force Force Unleashed. He was an Inquisitor. He was literally sent down to hunt Shaak Ti, one of her 6 different deaths that she has. Like he was the OG Inquisitor. So and the thing is with the Inquisition is like in the comics we keep learning about more and more Inquisitors, and maybe he was Vader's secret Inquisitor, not just apprentice, but secret Inquisitor, and he's survived all this time. I would love to see that if he was still like this top dog Inquisitor, like above the Grand Inquisitor, but like he only reported to Vader and Vader alone, and he had a like in the first mission, Vader says like you have to kill all Imperials, you can't let anyone know of your existence. So I mean, it would stay true to the game, and I think it would make sense bringing him into canon if he was just an rogue Inquisitor.
This is how I would do it, MJ, to answer your proposition. Thrawn returns. Thrawn is now back in the predominant galaxy. Word gets to Tanalorr, where one Cal Kestis is currently residing, building up a Jedi Order, whatever he's doing. Cal, we need you. We have a threat bigger than anyone's ever known. We need you to come back. So Cal, Marin, the lot, they return to the main galaxy. And to counter that, Thrawn looks up a old friend of the Empire, of Vader, and that's Starkiller, and he's off in the mountains like the old Vietnam sniper that got, you know, decommissioned, discharged, and he's just off living off the land, and that's Starkiller. He's off in some planet, living by himself, doing what he's doing.
I don't know how I feel about that. Hermit Starkiller?
Not Hermit Starkiller to a degree, but he's just off doing him, minding his own business. Thrawn offers him, listen, we need an emperor. Handle this. I'll give you everything that you've ever wanted. And Cal versus Starkiller, live action. And just have them destroy each other.
Well, Cal's dead.
Cal's dead, dude.
Bye, Cameron.
It's an easy way to send them off. Have them destroy each other. Have them go to Tanalorr. Do whatever. But I think Starkiller is just too big of an elephant in the room. And really the only one power level up there to mess with him is Cal Kestis.
Luke? Maybe.
Luke could. Easily.
Luke could go toe-to-toe with Starkiller.
Both of them could. Luke, Cal, you get the Avenger squad. Like, Starkiller literally could be Thanos right now.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why you couldn't build a New Republic Avengers. Of course.
It depends on the script, but yes, I do agree. If they were to introduce Starkiller in the script, good script way of, like, Thanos.
Yeah, Ahsoka's your Captain America. Cal is your... fucking, I don't know.
I would have the same feared thoughts as Thrawn, because like my feared thoughts with Thrawn is he's an even smarter villain than Palpatine is. Palpatine is 5 steps ahead of you. He's 10. He's just that smart. Like that.
To a degree. In combat, he is, yes.
Yeah, like nothing beats intelligence when it comes to anything.
Yeah, because Palpatine was just a fucking politician. He didn't know shit what he was doing. He was just going off of whoever was saying yes.
Sorcerer, right?
Yeah.
Like a politician, a political sorcerer.
Yes. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was simply going off of the words of whoever was saying yes to him. You know, that's why you had people like Veer saying, "Oh, let's do Battle of Hoth. Let's do it."
One of my favorite moments in all of Star Wars is actually one quote from Palpatine himself, and it's actually in the animated Clone Wars, which is literally so much logic behind it that it has concrete solidification. He literally states, "It's amazing how the words of a senator can sway millions." And right then and there, I knew, like, that's a villainous fudge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, people are dumb.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
crazy.
Presidents, yeah, okay.
100%. Yeah, but Thrawn with Starkiller, Thrawn is like the Loki kind of character, menacing.
They conquer the galaxy.
Yeah, and literally Luke has to come. You bring the Phoenix Squad, Ezra, Cal, Marin, everyone to try and stop Starkiller. Because if you don't, this guy's going to take over. And what's happening while all this is happening? The First Order is building up in the background, undercover. It's perfect, man. It could work. We have so much time. I think it could work.
See, like, and this will be the last thing I'll say before we go to the next question. Is like, I still don't like. I don't know. Like, I hope they. And they're not going to, but I hope they stray away from the sequel trilogy, because I'm like, I know we're headed that way. It's like we're climbing into.
People want to leave the prequels so effing bad though. Like I hear that every day. Like my other friends, like they just want to leave the prequels and Anakin. And...
I think the prequels are done. I think we're done with the prequels. Like I mean, Tales of the what was it called? Tales of the Tales.
Tales of the Tales.
Whatever that show was called. That was good.
Tales of the Tales.
What was it called?
Tales of the Jedi?
I let him cook, Tebow.
Yeah.
What the hell was it called? It was good, but I'm like after Bad Batch, I kind of want to be done with Clone Wars and the prequels. Like, I think the prequels are done. I think we've added enough, like, you know, layers to this cake where it's done now. I want to go to before the prequels, but not like High Republic. Like, I want to go before that because High Republic sucks.
I think
Season 3 has to send the prequels off with a mother-loving bang.
Well, yeah, it's, the Bad Batch is literally the end of Clones. That's literally what the show's all about. But what I was saying is with the First Order is, like, I hope they stray away from the sequel trilogy because, like, there's no threat in the current shows for me. Like, there's nothing, like, that's going to keep me engaged because I'm like, I know we're just going to the First Order, and, like, the First Order is just a big fuck up. Like, okay, the bad guys are going to mess up huge later on. I'm not worried about anybody. If people die, okay, well, it's gonna happen. But like I feel like there's no big like threat. I'm like, and if I could somehow jump into the Star Wars universe and be like, look, everyone in the Republic, just let them do their thing. The First Order is a big mistake.
I haven't felt a threat since the Death Star with the First Order. Like, the Death Star had the ability to blow up one planet with one laser. The First Order upgraded it to 5 planets with 5 lasers.
Yeah, but they have to drain a sun in order to do that. So, like, they were very limited on how many times they can do it. So, like,
Starkiller, they transformed Ilum into the Starkiller.
No. They have to drain a local sun to power it. Like the ass end of Starkiller Base sucks in a sun, and then they boom. And then they equipped all their Star Destroyers with mini Death Stars, but their GPS was so bad they couldn't figure out how to go up, apparently. So, I wouldn't worry about the First Order.
I like seeing stuff get built, you know? Like, because in Clone Wars, you see the Empire fledgling in the background of the Republic. So that I think it'd be cool just to I just want to get hints in content that we get. Just drop hints. Like, and we got a hint, but not really. Like, we met Hux's dad, who's in the Empire. That, like, we knew that already. We knew Hux's dad was in the Empire. I want,
not
like,
everybody did though.
You want to see you want to see Ben Solo show up?
No, but like I want to see like Snoke's hippie ass walking around, messing around, doing something. Because he would be out around in the galaxy, pestering, looking for apprentices.
Listen, all I'm gonna say about Snoke is, I guess we're gonna walk into that territory. It's just we got.
Yeah, because the next question is, with the introduction of Disney's sequel trilogy, how did it affect your view of the Star Wars saga?
Brother, Snoke was portrayed as a powerful villain, up more than Emperor Palpatine. He was literally force choking people galaxies away through a hologram. That's intimidation, okay? And then he got sliced like a slice of banana bread. I was just like,
yeah, they didn't know how to handle his character. They were like, they built him up. And this is the problem, I think, with the sequel trilogy, and this is why I'm gonna have a hard time trusting Star Wars movies that come out in the future, is because they had no plan. They literally were just still, like, while they were filming The Rise of Skywalker, they still were undecisive on who Rey was.
Yep.
They were like, well, she could have been a Palpatine, and that was such a
trilogy.
Yeah, so that speaks volumes. Like, so. It's almost like you're driving on the freeway with a bunch of people.
We're almost done with the character arc.
You're like, no, you're like, where are we going? I don't know. We're just gonna stop whenever I feel like it. You know what? I might cover my eyes for a little bit too to see where we end up. It's like,
just throw in fan service and we'll cover it.
It makes no sense. Falcon. The sequel trilogy. Okay, so we talked about the prequels adding to my Star Wars fandom and my Star Wars like I feel like the sequels subtracted from my love of Star Wars, and like, because the sequels are so far out there in terms of like the timeline. I don't want to go that direction. I want to either stay where I'm at right now with Ahsoka, or go the other way, start going backwards, because I don't want to get closer to the sequel. The sequel trilogy just, it doesn't make sense to me, and since we already know the ending, and nobody really likes the ending. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do I even want to take that journey?
No.
Like, it's like, if I know it's going to be a shitty ending, like, I don't want to.
All of the
take the
Resistance
ride.
shows that have released bombed.
Yeah, they did, and I mean, I'm not saying all the characters are awful. It's just the way they handled the sequel trilogy. I think they just, like, I don't know what went wrong. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't know why they planned a trilogy without actually planning
A trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm with you there, man. It bugged me. I liked the movies, I really did, but each individual movie
Force
had different.
Awakens,
Yeah.
and cinematically, I enjoyed The Last Jedi. Cinematically, I didn't bother with Rise of Skywalker. I still haven't watched it. I literally remember,
it's pretty good. You might like
I
it.
remember watching it on a free service somehow and just skipping it like every 10 minutes. Like, I just wanted to see the fight scenes.
The one okay, and I don't want to be like Mr. Negative all the time, but I will say this. If we can lead up with the First Order with where we're going, I would like them to keep The Force Awakens, because I actually do like that movie. I think that movie is a great build-up. The First Order is actually
a New Hope spinoff or a ripoff, and I'm like,
I'm fine with that, because Star Wars rips off itself all the time. It really does.
It really does.
The First Order is intimidating. Snoke is still alive, and we still don't know much about him. If I was gonna retcon, if I had to do some middle ground by saying retcon the sequels, but Disney said no, I would say do it after The Force Awakens. Get rid of Episode 8, get rid of Episode 9, and go in a different direction, because you haven't screwed up Luke yet. Snoke's not dead. Nobody's dead yet. All your characters are still alive. Everyone's still kind of new, fresh, badass.
Yes.
Just go from there. Go from there.
Have Snoke be the main villain. Have Oscar Isaac turn Jedi. No, I'm kidding. Have Finn be the Jedi.
Yeah.
And with Rey. Like, I mean, I didn't mind Rey as, but what that storyline could be, right? Like, is like Rey and Finn cooperatively take or win, like as heroes do. But in the upcoming trilogy that's like announced or whatever for Rey, have her turn Sith as what was visioned in her head. You know what I mean? Because like I adore Sith Rey, but like I feel like she could be a great villain per se.
Yeah, no, it just I don't know. I mean, I like I said, if they redid episodes 8 and 9, I think that would fix a lot of things, because most people do like The Force Awakens. It's actually, I think, like a solid 8 out of 10.
I'm with you. I like them. I really like them. Wait till my book comes out, boys. You might like the sequels a little more. I'm trying to do it justice, man. Shout out to George. And like you said, a lot of those characters deserve some justice done for them, because they're good characters. Just
Finn got robbed mostly. In my opinion, Finn got robbed mostly, and in both on screen and marketing. In China specifically, they've reduced his size on posters to be literally minimal. Like, he had 5% on a poster, if that were to make sense. Like, what I mean by like 5% is like,
they reduced his character size. Yeah,
he was literally this big on a poster, compared to US where he's full size and you see him hold a lightsaber. He's minimized on the China posters, and then in The Force Awakens, he just gets robbed of being a stormtrooper turned Jedi.
Yeah, and that's the appeal that people make, the racist appeal that people make. Finn did get robbed. I agree. He thought he was a sick character. Still has tons of potential, because we know for certain he's Force sensitive. So hopefully he gets niced with this new Rey movie. I think that the sequels could benefit from a Dave Filoni animated show, kind of like Rebels got, kind of like Clone Wars. I think they could really benefit with it.
It's tough though. It's tough just because the sequel's so tangled with its own mess. So
I know it needs someone to really clean it up.
Or just redo episode 8 and 9, because redoing 2 movies I don't think is that bad.
I just don't like from a PR standpoint. How do you do that?
You just do it. Like, you just rip it off like a Band-Aid. You just do it.
Someone has to be the scapegoat, though. And if it's 8 and 9, it would have to be, like, they would have to publicly ostracize Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson and Kathleen. Yeah, which they've already been publicly ostracized by the community.
Yeah.
I mean, the only people that haven't ostracized them is Disney themselves. So, I mean, they just have to do it. I don't think it's as complicated as people might think it is. I mean, literally, you could just... I mean, I look at Marvel, for example. Look how crazy Marvel is now. You have all these different, like, shows and multiverses, and how many different Spider-Man have we've gotten. Like, how many times I've seen Uncle Ben die on screen the last, like, 20 years. It's like, how many different Batmans are there? I mean, DC, for crying out loud, they're recasting their main 3 every single, like, time they come up with new movies. So, I mean, I totally think they could redo it.
I think that's the magic of Star Wars, though, and they don't do that really, other than like for Han Solo.
Right. They don't do that, but this would be like the one exception. You know what I mean? This is the one time because people want it. It's not they're doing it to make more money. Well, obviously everything's to make money, but like I think they would do it because it's like it would profit the long term. The longevity, I guess, of Star Wars, because I don't know. But they won't do it. I really don't think they will, but I don't know. You never know. You never know with what's going on today. So we got one more question, right?
Yep, last question here.
Yeah.
And this is from my brother. This is from my brother, Taylor in Marysville, Washington.
Marysville. If you got to write a Disney Plus show for a specific character that hasn't gotten a show yet, who would the character be and why, and what would the storyline be? Also, Juder sucks. If I can write a Disney Plus show, so I would actually veer away from writing a show about a character that exists. I would write a show with brand new characters, original characters, and maybe have the occasional cameo of a character you might recognize, pop in. But something that I just don't understand why we don't have in terms of a video game or even a Disney Plus show is like, give us like a pod racing show. It doesn't have to be about the Empire, the Sith, the Jedi, the politics of Star Wars. Just make a racing show.
Furious in the form of Star Wars?
No, not Fast and Furious, but just make a pod racing show. I think a pod racing show would be really, really cool. Like kind of like what I like about the Solo movie is like there are no lightsabers other than Maul showing up at the end. Like it is a boots on the ground type story. So I don't know. I think a pod racing show would be really, really fun. I think it'd be a really cool opportunity to like visit different worlds with different tracks and interact with different characters. And they did that a little bit in Bad Batch for one episode, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I wish they did that. And you can do so many cool things with like
I don't think it can be just solely pod racing. In my opinion, you got to add swoop, because the moment you said introduce different planets, swoop racing came into my brain.
Oh, sure. It doesn't even have to be pod racing. It could be swoop racing. It could be any of that stuff. I mean, like,
I would love to see swoop racing just in live action. Period.
Yeah. So I think a racing show would be really cool. I don't know why they haven't tapped back into the whole like racing segment of Star Wars, because Star Wars Racer like was huge back in the day. And I don't know, like I said, like I just don't know why we don't have like a Forza version of that's modern.
Mm-hmm. What about you, MJ?
I mean, if it wasn't really obvious enough, I would write a show for Starkiller in particular. Have the pilot literally be on Kashyyyk, have the Empire reigning flippin' hell, have Vader fight the Jedi that, you know, I don't remember his name. And in the midst of all that, boom, pops out Starkiller, force gripping or force, you know, grabbing Vader's lightsaber. That'd be the end of the pilot. And just, yeah, basically, as Vader says, like, you know, how he takes him on with him, I would end the pilot like that. That would be literally just from the game, literally on Kashyyyk, and just kidnap Starkiller as a boy.
I like that.
Just full on Empire. The villains are winning per se, you know what I mean? Back-esque. And it just ends off with Starkiller has, you know, an implied heavy midichlorian count, and Vader has an interest in him, and just fade to black. Wait for episode 2.
Hell yeah. If it wasn't going to be a Vader show, I think Vader needs his own show, live action.
Yes.
If it wasn't going to be a Vader show,
comics are carrying Vader right now.
Yeah.
In the sense of his story, you know.
Man, it's tricky. I mean, Heir to the Empire could be a show in and of itself. But the question was, for a specific character who's not gotten a show yet, I am going to pick Revan. And I would like to follow Revan in a Game of Thrones style show with a good amount of seasons, good amount of episodes each, similar cinematography to Game of Thrones, to Andor, something like that, and just follow Revan. Whether you want to do as a Jedi, to Conqueror, to Sith, back to Jedi, whether you want to do after KOTOR, I think Revan would just be sick.
I would do KOTOR. I say KOTOR 0, like what happens before KOTOR 1.
Yeah.
But I would do KOTOR 0 through 2. I think would be a cool series.
I said I just labeled KOTOR 0 SWTOR.
Well, SWTOR is after.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's all after. Yeah. SWTOR is all after.
Actually, that makes sense because Traya was. I mean, I saw today that Traya was Revan's master.
Yes.
A Darth Bane show would be sick too, and that takes place like 3,000 years after Revan. But Darth Bane would be sick. The establishment of the rule of 2, watching him like literally join the Sith, destroy the Sith, become the Sith would be awesome. So I'll say, for argument's sake, I'll just say Darth Bane, because I know that Revan is probably never gonna get any media in my lifetime.
Not for a while.
If I had an alternate choice, it would have to be Palpatine as Sheev in the whole Plagueis arc.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Him under Plagueis. How did he kill him? Like you know.
Killed him in his sleep.
Killed him in his sleep. Let's see it.
I know.
Can save others from death.
That's what would be sick too.
9mm with a suppressor and just goes.
Yeah, right. Just has the pillow. Hitman style. That'd be great.
Anyways, boys, that's us done for the archives, episode 12. Shout out to MJ and Van Seal for hanging for 2.5 hours. Much love, much appreciation. Let us know in the comments how you feel about those questions and answers. Keep the conversation rolling as always. And with peace, knowledge, and serenity, may the Force be with you.